Hello and many thanks for joining us on the News at 10 on NTN News 24. We are live in Abuja. I'm Chinenwe. Let's begin with the headlines. Federal Executive Council approves research fund, addresses indiscriminate and unmerited conferment of degrees. Nigerians pay tribute to exemplary leadership of late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua during activities marking the 16th anniversary of the late president. National Hajj Commission of Nigeria inaugurates medical center in Medina following influx of pilgrims for this year's Hajj. The Federal Executive Council has, in its last meeting, approved the establishment of National Research and Innovation Development Fund and also approved the Council for Award and Use of Honorary Degrees in Nigerian universities. Minister of Education Tunji Alausa made the announcement while briefing State House correspondents on the resolutions of the Council's last meeting in the education sector.
Now, on the part of doing this, we will benefit from a similar restructuring, moving from fragmented landscape to a coordinated innovation ecosystem that maximizes impact in the face of limited financial resources, to encourage collaboration and coordination among the 54 research agencies, academia, institution, and industry. Number two, resources will be allocated strategically based on the merit and potential impact of proposed research projects that are in alignment with national development objectives. Number three, research agencies and academic institutions will be motivated to propose ambitious and groundbreaking projects through allocation of funds to stimulate innovation and excellence across the research ecosystem.
The Federal Council also approved the Council for Award and Use of Honorary Degrees in Nigerian universities. This is coming through the adoption of the KEFI Declaration to address issues of awarding honorary degrees by Nigerian institutions to safeguard academic integrity, restore public confidence, and eliminate the current trends of indiscriminate and unmerited conferment.
And politicization of this academic privilege, leading to concerns over awards being used for political patronage or financial gain, as well as conferral of award on serving public officials. As part of the ethics of award of public honorary degrees, this should not be awarded to any serving public officials, but we've seen that misuse in the last several years. Also, as people were awarded these honorary degrees, they started misusing the acronym doctor, putting doctor in front of their name by honorary recipient and awarding of degrees by institution. And also, we've seen that universities that were just opened about 5 years ago that do not have PhD programs are awarding honorary degrees. It's a misnomer.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has assured investors that the federal government is committed to providing a secured and friendly environment for investment to thrive in the country. The Vice President gave the assurance in Lafia, Nasarawa State, while declaring open the third edition of Nasarawa Investment Summit. Aliyu Tijani reports.
Vice President Kashim Shettima leads other members of the Federal Executive Council to the third edition of Nasarawa Investment Summit with a message of assurance to investors under the theme, Bold Transitions, Building a Legacy for a Sustainable Future. The summit seeks to sustain the trajectory of investment drive under the present administration in the state. Vice President Kashin Shettima commends the vision of Nasarawa State Governor for turning around the status of the state that was once a civil service state to investment destination in the country.
What Nasarawa State pursues here aligns with the national direction set by our courageous and reform-minded leader, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Across the Federation, we are laying the foundation for an economy that rewards production, protects enterprise, and give our states room to become engines of growth. I must therefore once again commend His Excellency, Governor Abdullahi Esule and his team for showing that reform is a daily act of fidelity to principle.
Governor Abdullahi Esule says the summit in its third edition has been a platform for engagement between policymakers and investors.
The 2026 summit, which is termed Bold Transitions, Building a Legacy for a Sustainable Future, focuses on protecting and institutionalizing the reforms that have embedded the progress, while setting the agenda for the state's next phase of economic development.
The State Deputy Governor, Dr. Emmanuel Akabi, Minister of Budget and National Planning, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, Minister of Trade and Investment, Dr. Jimoke Oduoli, and the World Bank Country Director, among others, during the plenary session, submit that there is need to institutionalize reforms in order to sustain the gains recorded. The summit attracts policy makers, investors, captains of industries, among others, with expectations that the outcome of the summit will attract more investment into the state. In Latvia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Senate has confirmed the appointment of Joseph Olasunkomi-Tebwe as Minister of Power as he raises the hope of Nigerians that the end of system disturbance or grid collapse is in sight. Ambassador Shola Nikolai, the Minister of State Foreign Affairs nominee, was also confirmed. National Assembly correspondent Lamia Ali reports.
Inadequate electricity supply is the single largest infrastructure bottleneck in Nigeria and a major constraint to economic growth. As the screening of Tebwe, the president's ministerial nominee for power, lawmakers were specific as they asked how the new minister intends to turn around the industry to achieve stable and sustainable supply of electricity.
Please go out there and solve this problem so that we can bring the needed development to our nation. What kind of timelines that you want to put behind these deliverables? Make sure that those who are doing distribution actually keep to the terms of their contract. What solution are you going to bring in order to nip in the bud this issue of vandalization of power infrastructure? A solution where people take responsibility from generation to transmission to distribution. We're open to all ideas. In fact, one thing I'll commit to today is that we are not going to do the things the way we've been doing before.
Also screened in the Red Chamber is a career diplomat, Ambassador Shola Nikolai, as he takes the seat of Minister of State for Foreign Affairs on the heels of disturbing reports on the state of some diaspora Nigerians in some countries.
What would you do different in ensuring that the Nigerian passport is respected and Nigerians are treated with dignity in foreign countries? Place Nigeria and Nigerians at the centerpiece of our foreign policy. And I think that is something many of us have argued over the years. Diplomacy is about signaling. Sometimes body language and the way you project what you're about to do also matters. I believe the time has come for us to change our approach in relating to this country. And in this, I will propose two steps. Apart from our engagement at the bilateral level, we need to escalate this to the AU. Ambassador Nikolai is definitely a round peg in a round hole.
Both nominees were confirmed and urged to make impact in their areas of assignments.
Congratulations to the nominees and their families. They will live here knowing very well that Nigeria is still work in progress.
I thank you all.
A mild drama ensued earlier at plenary when Senator Adams Oshomole made efforts to raise an observation during the adoption of votes and proceedings, but he was ruled out of order. Senate had on Tuesday made amendments to its standing orders, part of which provides that only a senator that has served back-to-back twice in the Red Chamber could contest the position of presiding officer. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
A coalition of civil society organizations led by the Vaccine Network for Disease Control is commending the leadership of the Nigerian Senate and chairperson of the Senate Committee on Health, Dr. Ibalibo Baniwo, for the passage of the National Health Act 2014 Amendment Bill 2025, describing it as a significant milestone towards strengthening Nigeria's health system and achieving universal health coverage. The group praised the Senate for approving the amendment, which raises the Basic Health Care Provision Fund from not less than 1% to not less than 2% of the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Senator Banigo reaffirmed the Senate's commitment to sustain health sector reforms, while stakeholders described the development as a major boost to Nigeria's health reform agenda.
You will see that if we have enough funds across these pathways, we'll be able to deal with over 80% of the health problems that we have in the health systems. And seeing that 1% really cannot carry what the population is presently. When we came in, we now sought a way to increase the percentage so that it can carry more of the weight of the problem that the health system has.
The passing of a bill by the Senate to increase the National Health Act from 1% to 2%. Do you know what this means? It means that the primary health care centers will be strengthened. It means that children can access care. It means that lives will be saved. It means that our women can do their pregnancy with happiness. It means many things.
See that the intervention that we made to the Senate under the leadership of Senator Banigo, they have now been able to increase that one at least 1% to now to at least 2%. It's a major leap forward for the entire country. It means we have more money that will be coming for immunization.
We do hope that as soon as possible there's concurrence, and then the committee of the whole will meet so that this bill can move from the National Assembly to Mr. President. And thereafter, we also want to appeal in advance to His Excellency President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to give an assent to the bill so that Nigerians can enjoy better health care.
INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amukmito has met with the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Dusu, to strategize on ensuring peaceful, credible and secure elections across the country, including off-cycle and by-elections, ahead of preparations of the 2027 general election. Francis Form reports.
With the countdown to the 2027 general elections underway, Nigeria's electoral and security institutions are moving to tighten coordination and eliminate vulnerabilities that have historically marred elections. At a meeting with the police leadership, INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amukmito emphasized that electoral activities are already in motion and they come with serious security implications. Amukmito confirmed that the presidential and National Assembly elections are scheduled for January 16, 2027, while governorship and State House of Assembly polls will follow on February 6th. But before then, attention is shifting to key off-cycle elections in Ekiti and Osun states, alongside multiple by-elections triggered by death and appointments of lawmakers. This, he says, are critical tests of Nigeria's electoral integrity.
Our collective commitment to intelligence, sharing, strategic planning, and community engagement will be instrumental in creating an conducive environment to credible elections and in ensuring the protection of our infrastructure, our personnel, and the citizens of Nigeria.
I want to emphasize that individuals involved in ballot snatching, vote buying, voters' intimidation, destruction of electoral materials, violent destruction of polls, or attack on electoral officials will be arrested and prosecuted in accordance with the laws.
Both institutions agreed that public trust remains central to electoral success. Francis Form, NTA News.
This is the news at 10 on NTA. Many thanks for staying on. As the deadline for submission of nomination and expression of interest forms closes, the APC says it is better equipped to consolidate its wide national spread and present stronger candidates for the 2027 general election. Yusuf Jika reports that the national chairman of the party, Nentawe Yewada, expressed satisfaction with the process and the level of support the party enjoys across the country.
The race for the 2027 general election is gathering momentum as the All Progressives Congress, APC, pushes ahead with its nomination process following the commencement of sales of nomination and expression of interest forms on April 25th. The party's primaries are scheduled to hold from May 15 to 23, 2026. Aspirants seeking to fly the party's flag for various elective positions have been filling in their forms, expressing optimism that the exercise will produce candidates through a transparent process that reflects the choice of party members.
Today, I'm happy to say I've submitted my form and I'm going to be working hard for the primaries. This is a time to change, and this is time for change, and this is time for the beginning of a new era in the Zamfara North Senatorial District.
For the national chairman of the APC, Professor Nentawe Yewada, the process so far is a reflection of the party's growing strength and nationwide acceptance, with assurances that the primaries will further unite and strengthen the ruling party ahead of the 2027 polls. He also dismissed claims linking the APC to the legal battles rocking some opposition parties, describing the allegations as baseless and urging the opposition to focus on resolving its internal challenges.
Aspirants are, it means they are deep-rooted. Aspirants are acceptable to society. Our aspirants also are in numbers. And when you aggregate these numbers put together, you can be sure that APC will win most of the seats in this country.
The window for submission of nomination and expression of interest forms closes this Wednesday at midnight, setting the stage for the next phase of the party's electoral process. In Abuja, Yusuf Jika, NTA News.
And the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Jigawa State has adopted Mustapha Sule Lamido as its consensus governorship candidate for the 2027 general election. He has obtained his nomination and expression of interest form after the party adopted him as a consensus candidate. Awal Mohammed Kazari reports.
The motion for Mustapha Sule Lamido adoption as the gubernatorial candidate for PDP was moved by the former secretary to the state government, Dr. Aminu Abdullahi Taura, and seconded by Aminu Wada Abubakar.
I hereby move the motion for the stakeholders of the Jigawa State PDP here assembled to accept Mustapha Sule Lamido as the consensus candidate for the PDP for the gubernatorial election for PDP in the 2027 election.
The process was formally supervised by the PDP state chairman, Babandi Ibrahim, who ensured orderly proceedings as party members sealed the decision through a resounding voice vote in a clear demonstration of consensus.
To thank the leaders of this party for once again giving me the opportunity to represent this party as the sole governorship candidate. By the special grace of God, we are going to do everything humanly possible to make sure we protect the interests of the party and also protect the interests of this state.
Subsequently, the PDP candidate was screened by the screening committee and was presented with his clearance certificate to participate in the general elections come February 2027. In Dutse, Awal Muhammad Kazauri, NTA News.
And Katsina State Governor Diko Umar Yar'Adua has honored the memory of late President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, describing him as a distinguished Nigerian leader whose truthfulness, honesty and integrity will continue to be remembered. The tribute was paid during activities marking the 16th anniversary of the late president.
President Yar'Adua, who died on May 5, 2010, is remembered annually for his dedication to national service and commitment to public duty. Governor Yar'Adua reflected on his leadership style, noting that he governed with sincerity and humility while exercising authority with restraint rather than self-interest.
There was no one in Katsina State who was not touched by the late Yar'Adua. At the time, everyone was blessed by him in some way, and through his efforts, he have set Katsina State on the path of development.
The governor acknowledged Yar'Adua's contribution to Katsina State, stating that his leadership significantly influenced the region's development direction. On behalf of his family, the Katsina State government and the people of Katsina, Governor Yar'Adua prayed for peaceful repose of the late President's soul. In Katsina, Awal Halliru, NTA News.
Minister of Defense Christopher Musa has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to regional cooperation and security, emphasizing the importance of sustained synergy in degrading terrorist networks and stabilizing the Lake Chad Basin. The minister stated this during the just concluded meeting of ministers of defense troops contributing countries of the multinational joint task force under the Lake Chad Basin Commission and in N'Djamena, Republic of Chad. The meeting brought together defense ministers and representatives from member states, including Chad, Cameroon, and Nigeria, involved in regional security operations, and to review ongoing operations, strengthen collective efforts in addressing terrorism and cross-border threats in the Lake Chad Basin. The Northern Ethnic Youth Group Assembly has condemned the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, for describing as a travesty of justice a verdict of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, awarding 100 million naira in damages against the NGO. The court has, in addition to the 100 million naira, ordered SERAP to publish apologies in 2 national newspapers and 2 television stations to the 2 DSS operatives defamed by it. Reacting to the judgment, SERAP issued a statement dismissing the verdict as a travesty and a blow to civic space in Nigeria. But in a statement issued in Kaduna, Nigeria described SERAP's comments as deeply troubling and allegedly irresponsible for a group that purports to promote socio-economic rights and accountability. The statement, signed by Nigeria's spokesperson Ibrahim Dan Musa, noted that on the surface, SERAP pretends to live by its name, promoting socio-economic rights and accountability, but deep down, it would seem that SERAP would rather every other person or group, but itself, be held accountable. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, has officially inaugurated its medical center in the city of Medina following the influx of pilgrims for this year's Hajj exercise. Correspondent Abubakar Akwanga reports that some of the wings inaugurated are nurses section, pharmacy, male and female wards, doctors section, and an outpatient department, all geared towards rendering efficient health services to Nigerian pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. As at the time of this report, members of the medical team were seen attending to some pilgrims who came to access free services for their well-being, all through the 2026 pilgrimage at the holy city of Medina. And that's the news at 10 on NTN News 24. Many thanks for watching. I'm Chineye.